The following presentation is brought to you by the Realm Network.
Oh shit! It's Vince Russo!
Vince McMahon's best kept secret.
I am the Antichrist of professional wrestling.
David Arquette won the world title.
I've got a wife, 3 kids at home, and I really don't need this shit.
How can this show be so awful, Mr. McMahon? I didn't think it was.
By Anglo on a pole match.
And Hogan, you big bald son of a bitch, kiss my ass.
Judy Bagwell on a forklift match.
McMahon, the family, The Rock, they screwed us all.
Now, you're the editor, right?
Mankind did it! Jumpy, beat. Goldberg steered Russo on the cage.
I'm from New York.
I'll get downright nasty.
This is Vince Russo's The Brand.
Hello, everybody. It is now officially no more Uncle Vince. It is officially Grandpa Vince. And this is one of my favorite shows of the week because this is the show where me and my good friend, the star maker Kenny Bolin, just the two of us, we get together, we break a little bread, and we eat a bucket full of chicken necks. And Mr. Bolin, how you doing this bright morning?
I'm doing pretty good. One less friend than I started with last week, but I'm doing pretty good.
Now, what are you talking about? One less friend. What happened now?
You realize that's 2 now. That's 2. Because
even though I didn't, you mean to tell me? I could have. Wait a minute. Hold the phone. I could have.
I'll be holding the phone this week. I'm not answering that damn thing.
Wait, Mr. Bolin, I could have played him, and we would have gotten the same results.
Yeah. If you'd have played him, we'd have got the exact same results.
You
want me to tell the story? You want me to tell the story?
Go ahead. It's all you, Mr. Bolin.
All right. We might run a little long today, but I think
no, this is well. We only have one very hot topic today, anyway.
Okay.
Mr. Bolin and I, we are going to get into this Enzo situation because this is we spoke about this last week. This is exactly what we spoke about this week. So that's going to be the hot topic this week. Just me and Kenny Bolin are going to discuss this. I got to get into now what happened, Mr. Bolin. I've been kind of off the radar lately, a little under the weather. My son was in town. Give me an update, bro.
All right. Well, first of all, Jimmy hates it when I talk about him in public. So here we go. As you know, and as every fan I have knows, people that knows me closely, my son watched the show. Excuse me. And he said, Dad, I could see how sick you were. I could see how it messed with you. You could see it. You called me back later.
Yeah, no, everybody could see. I got many comments on Twitter about that. I read that.
Okay. I honestly didn't see many, if any of them. I saw a few that were directed at me.
But your hair looked good during all of it.
Yeah.
I just want to clarify that.
8 days. 8 days
I've
been washed.
Okay.
But this was washed yesterday, so everybody calm down.
Yeah, it's all yours, Mr. Bolin.
And so, of course, the phone rings, and Jimmy's voice is on the show, which it was edited out, and there was a reason for that, which I'll get to later. And because Vince, I think, really wanted that voice on the show. Hang on, don't.
Okay. It's all yours. It's all yours.
And I'm going to clean you right up just as soon as we get out of this. And Vince wanted the ratings. I don't know. Y'all saw the show. Did he bully me into accepting? Did he punk me out? He said, Mr. Bolin, blink, and I covered my eyes so I wouldn't blink. And he said, I'm going to take that as a blink. And as we continued to talk, he finally pepped me up a little bit, like a coach, man. You got the athlete that's 0 for 21 from the field, and he just wanted me to sink a shot. He wanted me to sink a free throw, and he coached me back up.
But Mr. Bolin, let me interject here.
Right.
Okay, but also listen, all 3 of us, okay, me, you, and Mr. Cornette, being in the business for as long as we have, and I'm not going to speak for Jim, of course, but I think you and I certainly realized and saw and understood good podcasting when we saw it. I mean, answering that phone call.
I got him in it. I don't know if he'll have to admit it because it's the truth. Jerry Jarrett will tell you that.
Yeah, I mean, for the sake of entertainment purposes, that was good podcasting.
Yeah. Oh, well, of course.
Okay, go ahead.
And I think if somehow the phone lit up and he had a chance to put you on the air, be it to humiliate you, berate you, whatever, he would have done it. So he could say that he berates Vince. I mean, he would have took it a whole nother angle.
Right.
But that's what he would have done. So as you all know, I was pretty sick about it, and I was literally sick. I literally forgot what we were talking about. That wasn't no act, guys. I was messed up because I knew that it was only day 12 that we had been back together, so to say. And I knew there was a very good chance that he's going to get hot because he gets hot over about any damn thing and lose his cool. And then we weren't going to be friends anymore. So I even told Vince, I'm going to call him. He said, well, what if he never finds out? Well, there's trolls all over the place out there that love to hear every word that you and I say, and they go rushing to Jimmy and Brian last and report every word we say. Trust me. We don't breathe in and out over here that he don't know about it. So I'm getting worked up even talking about it. And I called him when the show was over, about 30 minutes after the show was over. And he answers the phone. He's in a good mood. We talk about some things, make each other laugh a little bit. Told him the progress of what all was going on with my mom. He laughed about that because I ended up having to cremate my mom, which she did not want done. But we just did not have the finances, even with the help and the donations, to give her the exact burial that she wanted. So when I told her we had her cremated, I said, now, Mom didn't want that. He said, well, you took care of that, didn't you? So we laughed about it. But, you know, it's what we could do. And if anybody can make anybody laugh over stupid stuff, because I went through Jimmy's death with his mother, but Jimmy wasn't in a laughing mood. There wasn't no making him laugh. And he even had me be the pallbearer. And I don't think we're taking too much time here today, but I think people need to know this. I was a pallbearer for Jimmy's mother's funeral. Jimmy called me and begged me because my Vince Russo was a guy named Tim Ash. I don't know if you've heard me bring the name up before.
Plenty of times, yes.
Well, Tim Ash was my Vince Russo. Only Tim Ash legit really cost me a lot of money. He undercut a deal that I was working on at Six Flags where we were going to get $10,000 a show, and I was going to get 30%, which was my deal for working with OVW. They figured 70% of nothing beat 100% of nothing. So my deal's 30% of any dollar that I bring into OVW. And I lived okay there. That's why I wasn't all that concerned about whether I made it to WWE or TNA or WCW. I could live in Louisville, do what I want, when I want, be with my son every single day, and not have to answer to anybody other than Danny and Jimmy, which I did what I wanted. So there wasn't even really any of that. So he tells me that Tim Ash is also going to be a pallbearer. Can you imagine if a common relative that you all know had passed away and Jimmy Cornette is, hey, by the way, I'd like for you to be a pallbearer.
No, I mean,
Vince Russo is going to be a pallbearer.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, yeah, the comparison you can make is if your mother just passed away and you were going to bury her, and me and Jim Cornette were going to stand side by side as pallbearer. That's the comparison.
Absolutely perfect. I didn't go there with him because we never got a chance to. But I was there for him for everything he needed. And I even made amends with my so-called Vince Russo and agreed to go to the funeral. We were both pallbearers and dealt with everything just fine. And no problems, no promos, nothing, no cross looks. It was just, we got through the day. And I'm going by memory. I think Tim was a promo, but was a pallbearer. I know he was at the funeral, and I know I had to deal with him. It seemed, now this has been several years ago, it seems like he was also a pallbearer. And because him and Jimmy were pretty close. So I'm with him through thick and thin, put up with this stuff. He tells me, give me a couple of weeks to get my head together, and we'll take care of this Tim Ash situation. Well, that never happened. When Jimmy was fired from OVW for the thing with Santino Marella, the next day, Danny Davis and I had to take care of the Tim Ash situation because we all wanted him gone. Jimmy was the only one that wanted him there. So that is the only comparison that I have. So now here we are. I'm on the phone. I think as a friend, I need to call Jimmy and tell him what happened. So I call him and I tell him after about 30 minutes of BSing with each other, And I said, oh, by the way, I said, when you called, I said, you know what show I was doing, right? What show was you doing? I said, well, me and Vince were doing our show. Oh, and he just loses his mind that I didn't even know you spoke to him anymore. I said, yeah, right. Yeah, I just gave up podcast one and just quit being friends with you, Russo, because you and I were speaking again. I said, you know better than that. Come on. So I told him what happened, and he seemed to deal with it. The only problem he seemed to have a problem with is that if the show aired with his voice on it, there was going to be trouble. I said, well, there ain't much we can do about it. I said, because it's Vince's show. I said, if it was the bowling alley, maybe I got some say. But this is Vince's show. I'm just a reoccurring or regular guest on it. I don't have any say in it. And I said, I don't think you can sue for that, Jimmy. I said, he could honestly put your voice on the show any damn time he wants. You can play, I think, up to 8 or 12-second clips, whatever it is. We could play Lester Holt on network news here if we wanted to, as long as you keep it to a certain time limit. And right. I think it's 8 to 12 seconds, whatever it is.
Right.
So I explained to him there's nothing I can do about it. And he seems to be all right. And we talk a little bit more, and everything's going good. And then I say, Jimmy, man, I'm proud of you. I said, I really thought you was going to be a lot madder than me over this. I said, once I answered the phone, I knew I'd screwed up. I said, but I appreciate you for being big about this and not making too much stink about it. And I said, as a matter of fact, I said, I don't even think Russo's going to air your voice. What? I said, I don't think Russo's going to. I was recorded. Yeah, Jimmy, I answered the phone during the show. You know, when I used to do your show and Maul Bolin would call in, or Biscuits and Gravy Razor would call in, or Chris would call in, or Maya, and they were always on the show, and we'd interact with them on the phone. I said, come on, quit acting like you don't know the show was recorded. Said, of course it was recorded. Well, and so I won't use all the language that was used. Oh, and then cussing me, and are you ribbing me? Or come on. Why didn't you just hit pause and then answer the phone? I said, well, that's not an option. I said, I'm on Google Hangouts. I don't even think that's an option. And I said, and you've never done that either. I said, everybody that ever called me got on the show. I said, so I gave you a warning. I'm doing a show. Whose damn show do you think I was doing? Well, I didn't even realize you even still spoke to him. Come on, Vince. Seriously. He knows better. He hears every damn word we do and say. So now, are you ribbing me? I said, no, Jimmy, I'm not ribbing you. I said, but I don't think he's going to play your voice. But I was on the Vince Russo show. I said, yeah. Click, gone. And lots of he was very upset. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to give him a few hours to calm down. Maybe he'll call me back. And really, because we've only been back together 12 days. You know, my mom passed away 12 days from that point. So the whole day goes by, nothing. So Maya says, Kenny, have you called Jimmy and told him that Vince ain't going to? Because here, folks, this is how big a man Vince is. Vince really wanted to air Jimmy's voice badly. Yeah. But at 5:19 in the afternoon, Vince called me. Now, but this all goes down about 11 a.m. Vince calls me at 5:19 in the afternoon. He says, Kenny, he says, I am not going to be responsible for you losing your friend a second time. I'm not going to air his voice. He said, but your the video of your reactions afterwards was priceless.
Right.
We're airing that.
Well, Kenny, to be honest with you, Kenny, and I think, I don't know if you went back and listened to the show. But
I finally did.
Yeah, Kenny,
it's hard for me to go back and watch. I watched it yesterday.
Kenny, the problem would have been I would have had to cut out too much of the show.
Well, of course, a lot of it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if it was maybe a minute or two, but I mean, we kind of dwelled and talked about it. I would have had to cut out way too much of the show. I didn't want to do that.
The mouse in your pocket. Now, Kenny, back to the phone call. Yeah. It was like a Senate hearing investigation.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it would have been way too much to cut out.
Would have been. Yeah. And I didn't have a problem with that because the voice was taken out.
Right.
And I've talked about Jimmy because it comes up on every show I do. That to me wasn't that big a deal.
Yeah, well, and not only that, Kenny, not only was the voice taken out, never used his name in a headline, never said what, never mentioned any of that.
You just you won't guess who called. Could be anybody.
Right.
There might be some out there that guessed Jimmy, but probably most didn't. So Maya calls him about 12:30 at night and says, hey, Kenny is really upset right now and is scared of what he'll say to you if he calls you, so I'm going to call. Vince Russo called. He was the bigger man. He's not going to air your voice. No big deal. Your voice ain't going to be on Vince Russo's show. Kenny says, get over it, and this ain't no big deal. Let's end this. Give Kenny a call tomorrow. So she leaves the voicemail. That was last Thursday, I guess. When we recorded the show on Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday.
So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday now comes. Not a word. So that's when I decided I'm done with this crap. Many people have pointed out, people in my own home, countless others have pointed out the fact that I have been punked and bullied by him to a degree. No, he ain't going to whip my ass, and no, he ain't going to try. But I have been belittled and made the lesser, meaningless man by him, and I've had to walk on eggshells around him. I've always had to cater to his feelings and his needs and what's going to upset him, what's going to piss him off. No one's ever cared how I felt or what my needs were or what I needed at the time. There's been a time or two that he's actually put me over him. Yeah, he come to the hospital most every time that I was in there. And I honestly felt sometimes he was looking for the bag full of money that he was wondering where I had hid. But he did at least come. But I still get lectured about this, lectured about that. I'm a year and a half older than him. If anybody ought to be lecturing anybody. And what it is that Jimmy is an only child. He was catered by his mother, who I love dearly. And his mother made sure he never wanted for anything. Jimmy has never had to work a real job a day in his life. And a lot of people think I haven't either, but I did work in the mortgage business for 5 years. I worked at Kroger for 5 years. I worked in sales and marketing for the better part of 8 years. I know what real jobs are about. I worked in nurse recruitment for 2 years. I've had real jobs. I've punched time clocks. I know what it's like that if you don't work, you don't get paid. Jimmy, fortunately, has lived off the money that his family has left for him and what he's earned in the wrestling business. But Jimmy needs a lot of money to pay his bills, and I don't need all that much. We live two entirely different lifestyles. That's by choice. He wants to live his way. I choose to live mine. I don't live like a bum, but I don't live like Jimmy either. And so the pressure is on us, I guess, in different ways to have to earn bucks and to earn money. So maybe that creates, and obviously his fame, he's got X amount of followers and I got X amount. But I'm tired of being treated like I have to cater to his every whim and need. And basically, he acts like a 5-year-old kid, not a 5-year-old kid, but a 5-year-old bipolar kid who refuses to take his medication. And I'm not going to tolerate it anymore. He owes me an apology because if he heard anything about the tape, he knows damn well that I was upset that I answered the phone. I probably shouldn't have done it, but I knew it was going to keep ringing if I didn't, and I didn't want to ruin our show. And it kills me that he thinks so little of our friendship that he'll end it over me and you being friends. He says it's Chris. He's full of shit. It's over me and Vince. Chris didn't go on Reddit and report. Number one, Jimmy never called Chris a liar about anything he put on Reddit. He didn't like it being made public. He's not going to like this being made public. But this is the God's honest truth, folks. I don't know what Jimmy's going to say. He'll probably ignore it because that'll be the best thing for him to do because there's not anything he can say to counteract what I'm saying. He has been helpful to me over the years. He has given me little small jobs on the side to help me make supplemental income. He has done that. But then that got held over my head when you and I became friends. We gave you X amount of money. No, you didn't give it to me. I earned it. I have a DVD burner and I mass produce these things for you. And the money I was paid, I earned. You didn't give me shit. That's what happened on the final day of our friendship, is that his wife came over here and told me, well, what about the money we gave you? No, that ain't giving. Because if I didn't do the work, I wasn't going to get paid. As a matter of fact, I never got paid till the jobs that were completed. Oh, okay. Well, how much does that pay? Okay. Can I have that now? Nope. Never once was I ever paid in advance. He got his money when the work was done for whatever he was having me do, normally DVD burning. So that I didn't take too kindly to. That not only did he not have the guts to tell me that he had to have his wife do it. So this crap's over with me. I'm ending the friendship this time. He went that many days when my mother is dead and doesn't even have the decency to call me and work through this, try to figure out a way to work it out. Okay, Kenny, big deal. We'll all laugh about it. My voice was on Russo's show. Big deal. Because I think that's what most people would think and say about it. And I'm not doing it anymore.
Kenny, can I tell you something? Kenny,
sure. Kenny, that's about all I had to say.
Kenny, can I tell you something? Kenny, how old are you?
I'll be 58 in March.
Okay, Kenny, I turned 57 today. Okay.
Happy birthday. I knew it was close, and I'm sorry I didn't jump the gun. Happy birthday. I'm here sitting there bitching about my problems.
Kenny, listen to this. This is how I look at it. You and me, we're the same age, Kenny. Okay, you're 50. Yeah, I'm 57. Kenny, listen to me for a second. Hear me out. How old is Jim Cornette? So he must be 56.
A little younger than us.
56,
he
55?
turns 57 in September.
Okay, 57 in September, which is not that far away. Okay?
Not that far.
Mr. Bolin, here's how I look at it. Okay, you and I, you've lived 58 years on this earth, right, Mr. Bolin?
Closer to that than 57.
Yeah, Mr. Bolin, in 12 years, you're 70. In 13 years, I'm 70. I'm 70. Okay. A little over a decade, we're going to be 70. In other words, we've got 50 plus years behind us. In 13 years, we're 70. Mr. Bolin, should any of this matter in our lives right now? I mean, we look at the time we have left here. Should this stuff matter in our freaking lives?
I'm about to give you the proof. Someone sent me a video that I'd never seen. Jimmy was 47 years old in it. Have you seen the video where him and New Jack patch things up?
No, I have not.
I watched it yesterday. It's about 12, 13 minutes long. Someone sent it to me. Jimmy's doing a kayfabe interview of some type. He's done a billion of them. And so he's sitting there doing another one, and all of a sudden there's a knock on the door. Come on in. And Jimmy had been bad-mouthing New Jack. Jack had been bad-mouthing Jimmy. I mean, just horrible, horrible stuff. No way this thing's going to be fixed. That Jimmy leads you to believe he'd shoot him in the street if you ever saw him again. You know the deal. You've been there. I'm thinking this thing might be recent. I don't know how old it is. It gets revealed later that Jimmy's 47 when this happened. So this thing happened almost 10 years ago. New Jack walks in and he starts saying something stupid to Jimmy, just making a joke. Remember, these two despise and hate each other. New Jack works his way around the table, comes up behind Jimmy, puts his arms around his neck, thinking he might just choke him to death right then and there, and they're laughing. And he says, oh, if you'd have said anything else to me, well, this might not have been able, but you know what? We're good. We're good. And they stand up and they hug each other. We're too old for this. So at 47, they're both admitting that they're too old to carry on this hatred grudge. And I'm telling you, it's as bad as anything with you and him. He hated New Jack with a passion. New Jack hated him with a passion. He comes in, cracks a joke, and all of a sudden him and Jimmy's fixed. Oh, they're hugging. Mustafa, he never had any heat with anyway. So Mustafa's just sitting there like, you know, and he's older than them. I don't know by how much. But they fixed that with laughter and a hug. Why can't that happen with you? Why can he just not, just the two of y'all walk in and say, hey, you know what? It's 10 years later than when you and New Jack hugged it out.
I miss the ball. I have no idea.
I don't either.
Like, you know,
and he won't apologize to me because you know what Chris was going to do? Because for whatever reason, Chris, because I blocked him again. I'm like I said, I'm done with him until he's man enough to apologize to me, get some help, get some mental help, if that's what it is. Jimmy, normal people don't do what you do when they get mad and break everything in their house that you paid for. And it ain't no secret. You brag about it on your shows. So it's not like I'm divulging any dirt on you. Every time you get mad, you want to break something, beat up a car, break a DVD burner, throw a printer out the window. I mean, what the hell? Normal people don't do that. Normal people don't have the hatred that you have for other people. Normal people aren't scared to go to Kroger because they're scared they're going to run into somebody or somebody might recognize them and maybe ask you a wrestling question. But yet when you and I do personal appearances, you eat it up. I'm the one that wants to go home after 3 hours and you want to do 2 more hours worth of questions. So get some help. Get some help because normal people don't act like you do. For the fact that you would end our 41-year relationship over your voice was heard on a show of a guy that you hate. Come on. Quit being a 5-year-old bipolar kid. Grow up and get some damn help. I'd be happy to be your friend again. I'd be your friend today if you would just admit, Jimmy, that sometimes you're wrong. And this is one of them. But I'm not going to be your friend again. Do you get some damn type of help? Because normal people don't act like you. When you're the only one, you think you're the only one that's right. You're the only one that's ever done anything right. You're the only one that's ever written a good wrestling show. Well, why, Kenny? How do you put up with these people? Because they're people. We all are different, man. We all don't do exactly the same thing. I dislike some people. Vince knows one of them pretty well, but I don't want him dead. I don't want to go to his state and shoot him or beat him up. I just don't want him in my life. I think we can all do that. Wouldn't there be a lot less murders if we all just, you know what? I don't think I want that guy in my life anymore. We have a very bad murder problem here in Louisville where people.
Yeah. Well, I heard about that yesterday, Mr. Bolin. Gee, man, I don't want to get off topic, but wow.
In Paducah, not too damn far from Evansville. That was down almost closer to you where you lived than to me.
Yeah.
And a lot of people disturbed by that. My nurse was rattled by it. Oh, by the way, she heard the show. Whew. She's anxious to fulfill your fantasy of the
Mr. Bolin,
that's what I got to say. I wanted to get that off my chest. I wanted to make it clear.
And Mr. Bolin, I just want to tell you, listen, Mr. Bolin, if people, I am years and years and years and years and years removed about sitting here and cutting promos on Jim Cornette. Now, when he publicly threatens my family like that takes it to a different level.
Pay attention to that.
Yeah, that takes it to a different level. But as far as but Mr. Bolin, here's what I want to say to you, bro. And I'm so glad you said this, bro. You should not be bullied. You are a freaking grown man. Like I said, Kenny, you have done so much in your life. You've accomplished so much in your life. You got your fan base. You raised a great freaking son. You got so much to be proud of. The fact that,
he's the godfather of, by the way.
Yeah, but just the fact of, a 58-year-old man being bullied. I mean, come on already. Enough. Life's too short, bro.
If he hears this, him and Brian Lance will be laughing about that on his show.
Right.
Oh, Kenny Bolin.
Yeah. Oh, poor Kenny. Right.
Number one, in a physical confrontation, Jimmy and I have had many, and he's never won a one. I'm not concerned about physical confrontations when it comes to Jimmy. And he knows damn well to this day, in as bad a health as I'm in, he doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell. It is the mental crap that he's done to me over the years.
Yeah.
That's where I always am the lesser man. Always my thoughts, as a rule, don't matter unless he needs it to. Yeah. Kenny, I need you to come on my show. I need you to agree with me with this. Okay, I need you to disagree with me with this. And I always did. I always played second fiddle because he was up here on the fame ladder and I was down here. And I eventually climbed up a little bit. No, I'm nowhere near where he is. And I doubt I ever will be. Not now. But I had that opportunity. Jerry Jarrett was the first one to notice it too. And I don't know how you and Jerry Jarrett get along these days, but Jerry Jarrett told me Jimmy held you down. Because if I'd have known about you when Jimmy was in this territory, I would have made thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars with you two managers, not necessarily Jerry Lawler and Bill Dundee, you two. Yeah. And he told me he's pissed at Jimmy over that.
Yeah. All right, Mr. Bolin.
And you said it yourself, what we all could have done together.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, we could still, to this day, we could still do it.
Yep.
This show is brought to you by TrueCar. There's something about TrueCar that a lot of people don't know. Using TrueCar can also help you buy a used car. In fact, there are over 700,000 pre-owned vehicles available from TrueCar certified dealers nationwide. So whether you're looking to buy new or used, you can get upfront pricing information that empowers discounts off the list price for used cars and a better buying experience through their TrueCar certified dealer network. Over 3 million cars have been sold through TrueCar. There are over 13,000 dealers, and they will save you an average of over $3,000 off the MSRP. So when you are ready to buy new or used, visit TrueCar to enjoy a more confident car buying experience. Some features not available in all states. That's TrueCar.com. All right, Mr. Bolin, let's talk about the matter at hand. Mr. Bolin, I'm hearing myself through your. Okay, I'm okay now. Mr. Bolin, I had a knockdown drag out with my 22-year-old daughter yesterday. who is, I hate to say, Mr. Bolin, one of these snowflakes. I hate to say my own daughter is a snowflake who like sees things one certain way. And that's it. Now, come on. I've got, she's 22. I'm 57. I've got 35 years on her. I think I understand the world a little bit more.
You would think.
Yeah. And we had a knockdown drag out. I felt bad about it, but like,
not the one who's about to make you a grandpa, I think.
No, that's my son, Will, 30 years old. But my daughter's 22, and you can't argue with these snowflakes, but sometimes you got to kind of put them in their place. So it turned into like a yelling, screaming type of match because I got very upset.
You don't like to do.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I got very upset. But it was like tough love because I don't want to argue with you, but you have to hear what I'm saying. Not everything is clear cut one way.
Listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth.
Yes. So I woke up yesterday morning and everybody knows, listen, I am a Enzo Amore mark. Okay.
That's true.
Yeah, Kenny, it goes all the way back when people were saying, Vince, watch NXT, watch NXT, watch NXT, watch NXT. I finally watched NXT, and the only one that stood out on that show like a mega superstar was Enzo Amore.
I never saw him there, but I did see his debut on Raw, and I went, wow.
Yes, he did the same thing at NXT.
The rest of them, what the hell?
Now, Mr. Bolin, let's go back to the very beginning, okay? I saw Enzo on TV. I'm the only guy that I was impressed, the only guy I wanted to see again. This guy got it, the whole 9 yards, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a week or two later, I spoke to Terry Taylor, who works down there, with the, what do they call it? The enhancement center. I always forget whatever they call that.
They just made sure they didn't call it what they called OVW. They just make sure they don't call it.
The performance center. It's called the performance. They perform there. And I said to him, I'm sorry, Terry, like the only one that I could see any remnants of a star is this Enzo Amore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Terry Taylor told me at that point that, Vin, it's funny that you say that. They were busting this kid's balls. They were making it difficult for this kid because he told me from Terry Taylor, Enzo Amore was a gym rat who wanted to become a wrestler. So he wasn't the guy that put all the years of training and the road trips and the this and that. And because of that, everybody was making life miserable for him at NXT. Terry Taylor. Yeah,
I was told by insiders that Dusty hated him.
Yeah, that I didn't. He didn't tell me, but I don't know. But he certainly said to me, they're not making life easy for this kid.
I heard that as well.
Yeah, this is when he was at NXT. Okay, so of course Enzo makes it to the main roster, and Kenny, I'm telling you, when you know the system of the WWE, and I worked in it for 5 years, when you know the system, bro, I can look at this Enzo kid and I can just tell this kid is not going to fit into the system. Because
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he looks like
I was in that developmental process for 9 years.
You were there too. You, bro, the kind of people that are not going to be robots, that are not going to fall in line, that are going to speak up. Yeah, that are going to speak up when they think things are right and wrong, that are not going to be programmed, that are not going to be controlled. And he reeked of that.
Rob Conway with us was a lot like that when he first got up there.
Yeah.
Lived the gimmick.
Yeah,
didn't know when the gimmick was over, which I've heard that about Enzo as well.
And Kenny, I hate to, and you'll know exactly where I'm coming from with this. I hate to break the news with people, but usually when you have somebody like that, that's what a star is. That's a star, Kenny. So when you have to cater to somebody that's special and different and unique and speaks their mind, that usually is the makeup of a star. That's why Mariah Carey will only eat, blue M&Ms backstage at a That's what stars do.
Now, Al Snow paid me the biggest compliment he ever paid me. They said, why does Kenny Bolin get everything in Louisville that he wants? Why does he get free cars? Why does he get free meals? Why does everywhere he goes and everyone caters to him? It's because, and Al Snow said it real easy. He says, Kenny Bolin is the only one here who walked in here thinking he was a star. When he got on TV, he thought he was a bigger star.
That's it.
And he convinced everybody in Louisville, Kentucky that he was a star.
That's it.
And
That's
if you don't act like a star, no one's going to treat you like one.
That's it.
And Enzo I'm sure everywhere he went, he acted like a star. I have no doubt about that. Guess who else was of that mold whose show you was just on recently? Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Left the company for 8 months and did without a paycheck because he stood up for what he thought was right.
Kenny,
He didn't want to put Lesnar over.
Yeah, and Kenny, when you have individuals like that, you got to know how to work with them. I mean, it's part of working with stars. If I wanted a cast of freaking robots, then I would hire a cast of robots. You see the robot on my microphone right here? You didn't put over my Sami Zayn doll. If I wanted, I'd rather have
like on television. I honestly didn't notice it.
I'd rather have one Enzo Amore than 100 Sami Zayns, and I'll deal with Enzo.
I agree with you.
Okay.
I agree with you 100%.
So Kenny, then the stories start, coming out all over the place. You could just see like, bro, like this kid, like he's in the freaking doghouse. I mean, you could just tell when they want to teach him a lesson, they want to bury him, they want to do this, he's going out, he's cutting half-shoot promos. I mean, the writing's on the wall.
Yeah. Now, you know who else went up there with that level of heat and eventually somehow apparently got out? The Miz.
Did he really?
The Miz,
I could
because
see that.
He's a reality star. He's a big reality star.
Big reality star.
Yeah. Well, Taker and countless others put him in his place in a hurry.
So, Mr. Bolin, I mean, you could tell if I don't know Enzo, but I can see enough about him. I do know the system. You can tell that this is a freaking car crash waiting to happen.
Yeah, you could tell that. They say that he didn't do a whole lot to make that heat go away. Right. He wasn't catering to anyone.
He's not going to reform. Some people just are not going to. I am not going to reform.
Kenny Bolin, quit acting like Kenny Bolin. Oh, okay. Well, let me start on it tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm not going to. I wasn't invited to Raw 25, and good. Kiss my ass. That's not going to. I could get less.
Another one. What if someone said, Vince Russo, you need to quit being Vince Russo?
Yeah, stop. Yeah, we're not going to do that.
We're not, or what we are.
We are what we are.
What Enzo was before he became Enzo, I don't know because I never saw it.
Right.
No one's ever saw me any different than how they saw me in 1979 at Oldham County High School. I always was a promo cutter and always thought I just wasn't getting paid for it yet. I thought I was a wrestler since 1975.
Right.
Or manager when I realized that was the way that I needed to go.
Right.
And I don't know because you honestly didn't love wrestling as lifelong like somebody.
I was a fan. I wasn't like one of these marks. I was a fan of wrestling like I was a fan of baseball. So, Mr. Ball,
doesn't mean you're going to pitch for the Dodgers.
No. I woke up yesterday morning never expecting to see Enzo Amore and rape. And rape in the same headlines. Now I'm like, oh geez, like what happened now?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's give everybody a little bit of a background to where we are now, so we know the situation. I guess back in October, there was an incident at a hotel where Enzo Amore was with a young lady, and now this young lady is claiming that Enzo raped her. Supposedly, a few days after the incident, she went to the police. This is back in October now. She went to the police, and since October, this case has been under investigation.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me go through it, then we'll look. So the case has been under investigation. Now, apparently, we don't know any of this is fact, Mr. Bolin. None of this is fact.
We do not. And I've even seen her testimony.
So there you go. So we'll talk about that too. So apparently now Enzo knew about, obviously he knew about this. If she filed charge, they've been investigating him since October. Apparently he never smartened the WWE up about this.
You have to do.
Right. Fast forward January. It comes out. I don't know how, but somehow or another, either Enzo, knew it was going to go to the next level. The girl threatened to talk to TMZ, whatever the case may be. They find out immediately. We're not going to condone this conduct. Yada yada yada. Enzo Amore is gone. Okay, now, Mr. Bolin, I want to parallel this. So Enzo's gone. He's done. Done. Goodbye. Let's parallel.
Supposedly.
Yeah, let's parallel this, Mr. Bolin. At the same time, let's parallel this with James Franco.
Okay.
James Franco got nominated for a Golden Globe for the what's the name of the movie? The what artist? The
maybe.
Whatever. He did the movie with the guy in the room, whatever.
Yeah.
Great performance, unbelievable. I said on my show before anything, Franco's going to be he's going to be up for an Oscar. This is phenomenal. He wins the Golden Globe.
He does.
Now, when you win the Golden Globe, that's usually a shoo-in for the Oscar. After he wins the Golden Globe,
at least a ticket for the Oscars.
Yeah, take it. After he wins a Golden Globe, story comes out like the next day. Oh, this girl, some sexual allegations, yada, yada, yada.
How dare you wear that pin? They're not really saying what he did.
Exactly.
But how dare you wear that pin?
How dare you wear the pin? Yeah. Franco, denies all rumors, say it didn't happen. It didn't.
He went on 2 shows that I watch. He went on Seth Meyers and he went on Stephen Colbert and addressed the allegations.
Exactly.
On both of those shows the following day, which blew me away because when I saw his name, I said, well, he ain't going to be there.
Right.
Well, damn, he was there. And he answered the allegations with a smile on his face.
Right. Okay. Now, Oscars get announced. No James Franco. Okay. Now, you know darn well. First of all, if you saw the movie and you saw how great the performance was, he got nominated for a Golden Globe. You know damn well, because of the allegations, no proof, no convictions, no charges, because of allegations.
Yeah.
This guy loses an Oscar nomination. Now, Kenny, you know entertainment. What does a freaking Oscar, he doesn't even have to win. What does an Oscar nomination mean for the career of an actor?
Even the nomination is a huge deal because every time they introduce you, and 4-time Oscar nominated, and a lot of people say, well, big deal. You got nominated, you didn't win. It's a big deal. You get nominated, it's practically as good as winning. Because every time you're ever introduced anywhere again, 5-time Oscar nominated such and such, and it sticks with you for life. And then by God, if you won one, you only need one. You win one, you're set for life. And then you got some people's got a whole shelf full of them. So yeah, the nomination itself would have been huge. And I assume he had never had one before.
Never had. Now, this is a guy. People, you got to look at the whole freaking picture here, bro. This is a guy, his whole life, dedicating his life. It's like wrestlers. It's like riding in the cars, town to town, for 6 hours and getting paid $50. Yeah, it's little plays, it's little parts, it's studying your craft, it's living, eating, breathing the dream. Finally, you do something worthy, the pinnacle of your career, and allegations.
Yeah.
Oh my God, no, we can't. We cannot. We have to stay away from this guy.
Address this. We'll have to talk about it.
Right.
Everyone will point and laugh if we have him. And then what if he is convicted? What if he did do this?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what if? And we're based on a what if.
What if he's convicted? What if he wins?
But even bigger, what if he's not?
Yeah.
What if he's not guilty?
They're not going to go anywhere.
They don't go back and give it to you the following year.
Right.
Oh, we screwed up.
Exactly.
No.
So one guy, because of an accusation, one guy loses an Oscar nominee who's worked his whole life for. Enzo Amore loses.
What he did?
It's never been inappropriate. It's always inappropriate. It's only inappropriate.
Okay.
Now, Mr. Bolin. So one guy loses the nomination. One guy loses his freaking career. Everything based on an accusation by another individual. Okay. And we see this girl's testimony on TMZ.
Yeah, I saw it.
What was your feeling on that?
My feeling was, well, first of all, I'd already heard that she had been in rehab like 8 times for having problems about telling the truth, problems about lying, creating things that didn't happen. I understand that she has a YouTube video about how to fake a pregnancy. And I watched body language, and I study body language like you won't believe. I am so good at knowing when someone's lying to me, especially if they're not a friend. I mean, friends, you kind of give them a little rope sometimes. But even my friends, I call out. When I know for a flat fact they're lying, I do it all the time, and it makes them mad. And because 98% of the time, I'm right. But that girl's story ain't adding up. I ain't saying Enzo wasn't there. I ain't saying Enzo didn't do what she's saying. I'm saying chances are pretty damn good that what she's saying didn't happen that way. The body language is not right. She's already changed the story 2 or 3 times. At first, she didn't remember anything. Now, all of a sudden, she remembers everything up to when she got knocked out. And the body language doesn't add up. When you read the eyes, you read the body language, and now you got a little history to go with it, that this girl has a history of doing this. I think you got to give Enzo at least let it play out. You know, let's run the process. I mean, obviously it was being investigated. And this could go anywhere from he wasn't even in the room, but I would say he was, because I would think he would say I wasn't even there. I don't know this girl. And to his detriment, to what he does need to be critiqued about, is that when you're that famous, making that kind of money, knowing that one allegation can kill your career, the worst thing he did was going anywhere near that girl in a room alone, and especially if he knew of her history. That is the worst thing. So maybe, because some of our wrestlers are not real smart, and some of them think, oh, well, she's stupid, she won't know what to do. Supposedly, he said, well, you want this? I've got 1 million Instagram followers. Now, what does that have to do with whether a girl wants to have sex with you or not? Now, did he say it? We don't know. Yeah. She says he did.
Well,
sounds like something he might say.
Well, you know, that's the thing, Mr. Bolin. Like, first of all, I don't know whether none of us know what
we don't
know whether the girl's lying or telling the truth.
Heard his side.
Yeah, and even my daughter, like I said to my daughter, I said, listen, the girl does some kind of a porn site or whatever, and you know, my daughter was right. She goes, that makes no difference. Yeah, that makes no difference. If she's got to do that for a living to make money, but I'll give you that. But Mr. Bolin, here's the one thing. Like I do, and I understand the girl's young too. I understand that.
How old was 22? Is that the age?
Something like that. But here's the one thing. All of these women now coming out in the Me Too movement. Oh, okay. You know, obviously, if this happened to them, it's a traumatic situation. It's a life-changing situation. There is a protocol, okay? Obviously, like if something like this happens to me, I'm just talking about me. Something like this happens to me. Okay, here's the first thing I'm doing. The first thing I'm doing is notifying the police. The second thing I'm doing is I'm getting a DNA test immediately. Was I raped? I mean, I'm doing that, number 2. The third thing is I'm lawyering up. And that's why a lot of these women are going to, you know, that Gloria Aldridge. I mean, they're taking the proper steps. Okay, because it is you know, if the allegations are true, it's a traumatic experience.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a protocol to prove this happened.
You know, the main thing she said that really bothered me, that if she really felt this way, she was violated, she was raped, she was taken advantage of. She mentioned one thing that seals his doom. Even then, even if she'd done what I'm thinking that I'm getting ready to tell you, even if she does this, it still doesn't mean she said no. We just have her word for that. We haven't heard a word out of Enzo. She said on the YouTube video that they slept together all night. She got up. He was still sleeping. Asked him where her dress was. Oh, it's all over the place. That's a weird answer. And then she said, I knew that he had had sex with me because I saw a used condom laying in the floor. Now, there's your DNA test laying in the floor.
Right, exactly.
And
I mean, Mr. Bolin,
I'm going to pick it up with my bare hand, but you're going to get this. And now he's doomed.
And Mr. Bolin, again, let's face it. Going to TMZ. Yeah, I mean, you're going to TMZ and you're cutting.
This ain't Lester Holt. This isn't CBS Morning News with Gail.
You're going to TMZ now. Also, to
What's that magazine that never got the story? Just made every damn thing up. The Star magazine or whatever.
The Onion or something. I don't know.
Yeah, there's one magazine just made up every story they ever wrote and got by with it for years.
So and then Mr. Bolin, supposedly now that Enzo has a text messages from one of her friends. One of her friends sent Enzo text messages where the girl was texting the friend that night, putting over that she just had, putting over the fact she had sexual intercourse with Enzo Amore.
I'd like to have those on my side. I'd like to have those.
And Enzo has made a statement saying he is 100% innocent. Nothing wrong with that.
I hadn't heard a peep at him.
Yeah, his lawyers. Enzo went to a lawyer. His lawyers made an official
statement. The lawyer was telling him, "Shut up and let me handle this."
Mr. Bolin, can I tell you something?
You can ask me. No.
This is an absolute shoot, and I would never. I can't mention the names, because I would not do that. Mr. Bolin.
All right.
Just so people can see, like, this is the part of it, like my daughter doesn't understand. Okay. I was such a huge, and still am to this day, I am such a huge advocate to women in the business. I think women should be treated as equals in the business. I think women are as important to the wrestling business and the entertainment aspect just as much as guys.
They are now, for sure.
I've always been a big proponent. Mr. Bolin, I've had 4 women, 3 of them from WWE, and 1 of them from the WCW. 4 women.
Congratulations. I've never only had more than 1 at a time.
Mr. Bolin.
Oh, I'm sorry.
4 women come to me with stories about rape, abuse, hotel rooms.
From the roster.
Yeah, from the roster. That worked for, 3 out of the 4 works for the WWE. They lost their jobs because they didn't give in. Somebody told me they were raped.
Yeah.
Okay. 4 different women have come to me. And here's the first thing that I say. I say, listen, this is a very serious allegation.
Absolutely.
If you're going to come forward with this, you just better make sure you have all your ducks in a row. You better make sure you have your story correct. You better make sure that, you weren't under the influence of anything, and 100% what took place, because these are the kind of stories that ruin people's lives. You need to make sure you have your ducks in a row. But Mr. Bolin, here's the deal. As I said, first of all, speaking for women.
To your knowledge, do I know any of the 4?
You know all of them.
Oh, okay.
You know every single one of them. Everybody knows every single. No, you would know every single one of them. Everybody else would know 2 out of the 4. 2 out of the 4.
Okay.
Mr. Bolin. And what I'm trying to explain to my daughter, and then my daughter gives me, this is why if this happened to me, I would never come forward, this and that. And I had to break the news to my daughter. Listen, not everybody tells the truth. There are a lot of bad people out there, whether they're looking for 15 minutes of fame, whether they're looking for a payday. Not everybody is truthful. I mean, I said to my daughter, Mr. Bolin, I'm working at Rocky Mountain Pro right now. Okay. I work for a little local, indie, company down here. Can you imagine if there's a girl on the indie scene wanting to make her name for a name for herself in the wrestling business? Now, everybody knows how much Vince Russo is hated. Can you imagine if all of a sudden, on a whim, a girl turns around? Maybe she didn't like the way I booked her. Maybe she did a job and she didn't like it. Can you imagine if this girl all of a sudden turns around tomorrow and says, "Oh, yeah, we were backstage and Vince Russo grabbed my breast"? That's simple, but because maybe she didn't like me, she didn't like the way I was booked, she didn't like my cologne, whatever the case may be. That's all that has to happen.
We're all goofy if we think this doesn't happen.
Yeah, and then what? And then
the other happens as well. There are wrestlers who violate the girls.
Yes,
and I have even seen it at OVW.
Yes,
and makes me sick. I flirted with every damn one of them. You got to build their egos and And if you don't treat one good, and let me give you a story. I probably shouldn't even bring it up, but it came out on Reddit this week. Shouldn't bring it up, shouldn't give it any credit, but there was a former girl at OVW who has tried to make it big in the business. She was actually in TNA for a while. Don't think she was ever into WWE. I won't even give her credit by mentioning her name. But this week, she made a statement on Reddit about Mick Foley and said that Mick Foley had raped somebody named Angela Massaro or something like that, and you need to admit it. And they were good friends, this person and Mick Foley. And Mick Foley said, well, you're dead to me. You need to move on. So then she goes on from that to name me and Jerry the King Lawler and says that we're perverts and child molesters and that we both date underage girls. And Kenny Bolin did for a fact. I know he did. And it made Danny Davis sick that Kenny Bolin did this. And I know the girl she's talking about. The girl, which Christopher went on Reddit and cleared everybody up. My dad did date a girl that was pretty young. She was 18. Dad was in her 30s. But not only was the girl 18, the girl's mother drove her to dad's car and said, hey, my daughter's now 18. You've always told her if you turn 18, I'll take you out for a birthday party, which I did. I honored my word. And it developed that we dated a little bit for a while. But the girl was 18 with the blessing of her mother. I have never, my hand to God, ever dated any girl under the age of 18. Now I sound like I'm that guy in Alabama. But I have always had a thing for younger girls. If that makes me a bad guy, then I'm a bad guy. I'll own up to it. But the girl that I date now is 25. I'm 57. She turns 26 in March. I turn 58 in March. And everybody knows about her. We've been dating. We've been together for over 4 years now. And if that makes me a bad guy, I'm sorry. That's what I like. For whatever reason, she likes me. There's been others that have been young that have liked me, but my hand to God, and even though I'm an atheist, I got to do something. I have, and anybody who can say, other than this idiot who said it, that I've dated an underage girl is a lying jackass, and I'm dying to see your proof. So that's why I'm not even going to mention the person's name, because it turns out she's just dying to get some attention.
Yeah.
She's really faded out of the wrestling business. No one really knows much of anything about her anymore. Yeah. So she tried Mick Foley. That didn't work. So now she tries me and Jerry Lawler. Yeah. And so that didn't apparently work either, because they said on Reddit she was getting absolutely nothing in any response whatsoever.
That's the thing with me.
So it did almost happen to me. She wasn't claiming I did anything to her, but said I dated underage girls, which is bullshit.
It's so easy to
young,
do. Yeah, it's so easy to do to anybody. It's scary. If you're a public name, if you're out there, it's so easy to do. It's scary, and it scares me.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to say something for both the men and the women.
All right.
And I want to make this clear. All I could do is give my advice. And like I said, I've spoken to 4 women in the wrestling business who have come to me personally with stories of rape, with stories of not following advances and being fired, with 3-on-1s in a hotel room. I've heard the stories. Listen, if you're a woman, let me just say this. This is all I could say on this. If you're a woman and you're a victim, okay, immediately go to the police. That's number one. I mean, not a month later, not 3 months later, not 3 months later. Immediately go to the police.
Because you're always looked at questionably if you do.
Exactly. The longer you let it wait, go immediately. Secondly, get a DNA test immediately. Get it done immediately. Number 3, please don't talk to TMZ. Get a lawyer to represent you. This is a legal matter. You're talking about your life. You're talking about somebody else's life. There's a proper protocol that will protect you. So immediately, police, DNA test, lawyer, immediately.
This is much like the EPO advice that we gave on another show here a while back, where we were trying to help people, weren't trying to hurt anybody, and then we get crapped on by this Brian Last guy saying that anyone files an EPO is a pussy. Anyone that does what you just suggested is very wise, and it's covering their ass.
Yes.
And if this really happened to you, Own it the day it happens. Don't think about it for 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years, or 30 years in some cases. Do it immediately, and at least I think that it's more likely you will be believed.
Yes.
When they don't want to believe you is when you go 30 years later. Oh, well, I needed the job. No one needs a job that bad. I've left jobs for far less than that. Where just on a moral issue.
Yeah.
Not to mention that, to be violated.
Yeah.
To be violated and still show up for work. How bad do you need the damn money?
And Mr. Bolin, let's address the boys. Let's address it, even though I know for half of them don't have half a brain in their heads. Let's address the boys.
That's a good reason to go.
Yeah, let's look at this Enzo Amore situation. Guys, I swear to you, bro, and I'm not going to feel sorry for you. If you put yourself in this type of a situation where it's a strange woman in a different town, in a no-name hotel, and there's two people in the room, and it's your word against her word, and you've got money, and you've got celebrity status. Bro, if you put yourself in that situation, you are out of your freaking mind. Guys,
freaking idiot.
If you can't keep it in your freaking pants until you get home to your wife or until you get home to your girlfriend or your fiance, I don't freaking feel sorry for you. If with all these stories, you see what's happening to everybody, now it's going to start infiltrating wrestling. If you can't control your freaking wiener for one freaking night, zipper up your freaking pants, opposed to, oh, I just met you. Let's go to my hotel room. It's going to be me and you. There are going to be no witnesses. You're out of your freaking mind, and I am not going to feel sorry for you, bro.
And
Mr. Bolin, would you concur that?
That is the part where I can't work up too much sympathy for Enzo, because the poor guy was, I'm pretty sure he's not a millionaire yet, but he was going to be. He was going to be a multimillionaire. He was going to be one of the top stars in the WWE. He had to do two things: learn to keep your mouth shut and keep it in your pants. And if you can do those two things, he was probably going to be okay. But the one that was going to seal his doom the quickest was not the opening of his mouth, but the pulling it out of his pants. And like I said, whatever happened with that girl, who knows? But he put himself in that position. If he was indeed in that room, if there's indeed a condom with his DNA in it, and this girl put up, even remotely said no, because no means no. It's not like, well, 5 no's mean a no, or 3 no's a yes and a no mean, oh, I guess that's a yes because she got a no. Once you hear no, and I've been in that position to where you got on a date and it's getting a little hot and heavy, and then the girl says, no, I'm not ready for this. Okay. You back down now. You do not proceed. And there'll be some macho guys out there. Well, hey, how do you ever get laid if you don't keep going? No. The minute I hear the word no, and that was taught to me at a very young age. When you hear no, this is going too far. I'm not ready for this. All that means no. Why would you put yourself in that position? And men are strange birds. Let's face it. You and I are of a different breed. The girlfriend I have now, I have because I did not come on to her and talk all this dirty nonsense to her. And you know, I treated her with respect. That's almost an unheard of thing by people like me and you, people in the wrestling business, people who've got a little age on them. Respect is a lost thing, man. And some of us get laughed at. Oh, I have. I've been laughed at for respecting a woman, not verbally telling her what I want to do to her that night or what have you. Any girl that I've dated over the last 20 or 30 years loved me because I respected them and treated them like a woman and treated them like an equal. And I have no doubt you do the same. That's why you've had the same woman for so long. And Jimmy Cornette used to laugh at you for that because you'd only been with one woman in your life. I admire it.
Yeah, well,
it wasn't me. It's not how it worked out for me. But if I had gotten to marry my high school sweetheart, the girl that I really wanted, her name was Judy Colville. I'll say it right here. She's the girl I wanted. And but it didn't work out. She married a gas station attendant who later became a dentist. I was I was working for Kroger and later got in the wrestling business. We ran into each other later. We both said, God, because she wasn't happy where she was. The dentist went into the military. She didn't like that life. And but I think they're okay now. But she had her rough patches. And my marriage lasted 5 years, mainly over religion. We argued a lot over how Chris was going to be raised. I didn't care. I wanted Chris to pick his religion. I was forced into being a Baptist.
Yeah.
And that led me to probably being an atheist quicker than anything, because I was made to go to church. I didn't choose it. I didn't pick it.
Right. Yeah.
And Christopher, the same thing, was forced to be a Catholic. Well, guess what? He became at like age 10 or 11. He also became an atheist because he was forced. And all I wanted to do was let him pick what he wanted. And Gabrielle, my ex-wife, no. He's going to do this. He's going to go here. He's going to go to this school. And I said, well, we don't know that yet. We don't know what he wants to do. And I want him to have some say. And it ended up leading to a divorce. Yeah. And it ended up working out my way anyway, because that's what he did. He ended up picking what he wanted to do. And I'm very proud of him for it.
Well, Mr. Bolin, I can say this. I swear. And this is
going to be Jimmy.
No, but please don't even tell me your phone's ringing. And this,
whoever it is, they're blocked.
And this was before any of this was happening and going on. Oh, what?
It's Eric Bischoff. No.
Calling you. Okay, listen.
I'm kidding.
For 20 years, whether it was WWE, TNA, WCW, after every freaking show, I would walk past the hotel bar right to the elevator, because as a grown adult, I knew nothing good goes on in there.
Yeah.
And never, I can tell you
after midnight.
It may be in 20 years, I may have stopped at the bar for 5 minutes 3 times.
Now, do you ever drink at all? Have you ever drank?
No, I don't. I mean, I drank, but I don't drink. No, that's.
Yeah, I've never been drunk a day in my life. I've drank a few things just to see what it tastes like, or okay, I'll try that Bloody Mary. Yeah. Or that's the so-called pussy drinks, the ones that are sweet.
Yeah,
I'll drink those, but I've never been drunk a day in my life, never smoked a day in my life, never did a drug a day in my life. And I don't feel I've missed a damn thing. You talk about my hair and that I don't look like a man who's near 60. You don't either. And I think it's due to the life that we've lived. Yeah, I'm fat, but for a fat guy, I don't think I look too bad for 60 years old.
No, you look incredible.
You look amazing. If you slid a little Grecian formula in your hair, you'd look good.
That ain't happening. But listen, guys, smarten up. Guys, don't be your own worst freaking enemy. Yeah. This isn't high school. Okay, we can go a night without getting laid. Trust, bro. Listen, if you go a night without getting laid in a town, I promise you will probably wake up alive the next morning. This isn't high school. Yeah, this isn't how many girls. This is freaking 2018. You're a freaking professional. Carry yourself like a professional. Otherwise, like this, your career could be over.
Where's he going to go? How long is he going to be hot on the independent circuit? Because I know a lot of guys that were here, and the minute the WWE's not interested in you anymore, you're down here.
You got to smarten up.
Your value drops very quickly. He'll be hot out there for maybe the first year, maybe, and then after that, because they're probably going to take his name, I'm sure, because I doubt his name's Enzo Amore.
Yeah,
so he can't do that. And even if it were Stone Cold Steve Austin, if you take Steve's music away from him, he's somewhat of a different guy, and I told him that.
And I pray to God, I hope somebody at the WWE in a management position, whether it's Triple H or Vince or whoever it is, I hope somebody up there is having this same exact talk with the freaking talent. I pray to God that somebody is responsible enough to have this same freaking conversation with the talent.
I have a question for you.
Go ahead, Mr. Bolin.
I worked with probably the hottest divas that have ever been in wrestling. I worked with Maurice, who's now Mrs. wife. What's she go by now?
Maurice. Yeah.
I've worked with her. I've worked with your crush. what's her name now?
Mickey James.
Mickey. I worked with Mickey James. I've worked with Beth Phoenix. Countless of the top WWE star. Kelly was here for a while. I saw her during the 25th anniversary. I've worked with just about every single one of them. Helped develop a lot of them. As far as promos go and getting over, not getting over, it was my job to get them over at the broadcast desk. What is it that makes these girls have to date in the business?
I have no idea, bro.
I never dated, and so, oh, you fat bastard, you couldn't have dated any of them anyway. Maybe not. But even if they were interested, and not so much the contracted models that came in that knew they were going to be millionaires, but there's a lot of developmental girls come in that knew if they could butter me up and get on my side, then all I got to do is whisper a good word to Jimmy and Danny, and they would get a break. And a lot of them tried. I never ever dated one girl in the business. They always take. There's a saying about it. I'll let you clean it up. Don't shit where you eat, I think. So
right.
So I never did that. I didn't do it at Humana. I didn't do it. I did it once at one of the corporate jobs I had. And guess what? She left me and started dating my boss. And that created a lot of trouble. And then she left him and he came back to me.
Very nice, Mr. Bolin.
Lots of trouble. Learn my lesson.
All kinds of scandal. All right, Mr. Bolin, what are we promoting this week? Tell me what we got for the fans.
God. You know what? Brand spanking new. Ooh. You're always looking for the Bolin Club merchandise. Take a look at that bad boy right there. That is the Bolin Club Beats by Bolin.
Wow, very, very impressive.
The XL version. This bad boy here is about a little over twice the size of the one I used to sell, and I still have a few of those. The old ones now are $49.95, marked down from $59. This one here, if you were to buy this Beats version out on the market, it would run you about $199 to $249. I sell these for $79.95.
Wow, nice.
Get up and call in now, as they used to say. Let's see, my DVDs of the Best of Bolin. We got those. The new Star Maker shirt. We haven't mass produced these yet, but we're going to sell these later in 2018. I haven't decided when yet, but it will be coming down the road. You can get the same mics that Vince and I use on the show, the Bolin Media mic, even though Vince doesn't have his logo on his. The Bolin Media microphones, we now sell those for $49.95 shipped.
That's ridiculous.
That's
ridiculous.
I paid $129 for the one you got there because you sent me the link to it.
Yeah.
You say, Kenny, improve your sound.
And you got a gold one, bro. I have a black one.
Well, that's from podcast 1. That is
the award. The billion downloads?
Yeah, 1 billion downloads. The golden mic. There's only like 1 or 2 of these in the whole world. And we got the white version over here, but this is only the silver version. I got this for 500,000 downloads.
Nice.
Yeah, I got the silver one for that. And but this one here's the one we're all proud of.
Mr. Bolin, where do they get all that stuff? You're telling us prices and everything. You're not telling me where to go.
It's really, well, I'll tell you where to go after what you did to me last week, but I'll save that for later.
Okay.
What you can do is go to my Twitter account at StarMaker Bolin, and off to the left, I have a link to my store. Go in there, click that. Maya has updated everything in there. She's updated all the prices. The hats, oh my God, did I forget to mention the hats again? The hats now, we have them in BS and Bolin Club. Which I think we have right there. We even have a few Bolin Club hoodies. We have a little bit of a surplus. People that made down payments and didn't pay for their hoodies, well, they don't get their hoodies. You get to buy them. So we got a few of those. We're going to put the sizes up. I know there's an extra 5X floating around. I think a couple of 3Xs, a extra large, a double X. So we got a few extra of these, and these are $59.95. The hats now are only $19.95.
Nice.
And the Bolin Club shirts and the BS logo, the classic BS logo, which you see on my sleeve. Can they see that? Yeah.
Yep.
We have those shirts back for the first time in quite some time. And all shirts now, regardless of size, are now $25.95. And of course, my book, I Probably Screwed You Too, The Mostly True Stories of Kenny Starmaker Bolin. You can get it at Amazon for like $15. Or if you want an autographed one from me, you can get it autographed and shipped for $19.95.
All right, Mr. Bolin, the words and the wisdom of Mr. Kenny Bolin. As always, Mr. Bolin, I appreciate you. And I also want to explain to everybody on Podcast 1, if you're listening to this show, That's because you're missing Castrating the Marks, where I rip apart the dirt sheet writers, the newsletter writers, the dirt sheet podcast out there using their own words as ammunition. You're missing that show because
You've invited all these people on the show. You've invited them all, right?
all of them. Nobody comes on the show. Nobody comes on the show. But
do you ever have guests on that show?
Nope.
I'm going to
I bring fans on the show. I bring fans on the show to help me castrate the marks.
I'm a fan.
That is exclusive on the Realm Network, RELM network.com. You can subscribe for less than $1 a week and get Castrating the Marks. Just go to russosbrand.com. Follow me on Twitter at @VinceRusso. That's it, everybody. Bucket full of chicken eggs.
No, that's not it.
That's Mr. Bolin.
That's not it. I got a little bone to pick before we go.
Yeah, hurry up.
Don't rush me. What's this about Disco Inferno now being Kenny Bolin Jr.? Every time he interrupts you, hey, Kenny Bolin.
Oh, yeah, Kenny Bolin.
Here this goes on for the whole show.
Very nice,
What
Mr.
the heck?
I'm putting you all. I'll give me a shout out, Mr. Bolin.
Well, I appreciate it. Take all I can get.
All right, listen, everybody. For Vince Russo, for the star maker Kenny Bolin, for little Sami Zayn.
Don't forget Sammy.
For little Sami Zayn, we will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.